In the dim glow of candlelight within the vaulted halls of Europe's noble courts, strange tales once unfolded. Chroniclers of the age recorded customs now long abandoned, practices that reveal both the fear and the yearning of humankind. Among the most curious of these customs was the eating of mummies, an act that today seems grotesque, yet for centuries was considered a medicine of great worth. The practice arose in the late Middle Ages when pestilence, fever, and sudden death stalked the people of Europe. Physicians armed with little more than ancient texts and desperate remedies sought cures wherever they could be found. Merchants returning from the East carried with them reports of Egypt, a land of wonders, of pyramids, and of bodies preserved for millennia by the dry desert air and careful embalming. To the European imagination, such preservation seemed proof of mystical endurance, a strength that might be harnessed for the living. Thus it came to pass that the dead were disturbed, their wrappings torn away, their flesh reduced to powders and tinctures. Apothecaries displayed jars of dark, crumbled matter labeled mumia, to be sold at high price to those in need. Nobles and commoners alike consumed it, believing that the strength of the ancients might pass into their blood. Kings were advised to drink it against weakness. Soldiers took it to steel themselves, and mothers prayed it might protect their children from sudden death. For a time, the custom was rarely questioned. The symbolism seemed sound. If blood contained vitality, then surely flesh preserved against decay must contain a force against corruption. Chroniclers wrote of bones ground for strength, of powdered skull given for headaches, of dark resin scraped from the dead and mixed with wine to cure bleeding. The noblest houses of Europe, from Paris to London, held jars of this grim medicine in their cabinets. Yet with demand came corruption. The ancient tombs of Egypt were plundered without pity. Traders stripped the dead from their resting places, packed their remains into crates, and shipped them across the Mediterranean. And when true mummies were scarce, others supplied false goods, criminals executed in Europe, their bodies dried in ovens, sold as if they were treasures of the Nile. Thus did desperation and profit entwine. The image of nobles feasting in a hall, their laughter echoing as a mummified body lies upon a silver dish, belongs more to satire than to sober record. Yet it captures the spirit of the age, the mingling of fear and hope, the belief that by consuming the past one might master the future. For beneath the merriment of feasts and the solemnity of prayers lay the same dread, the dread of death, swift and merciless. In time, dissenting voices arose. Certain scholars argued that the cure was no cure at all, but a superstition born of ignorance. Clergy warned that to devour the bodies of the dead was to sin against the dignity of mankind. And as the Enlightenment dawned, reason at last cast its light upon the practice. Physicians observed that the powders cured little, that many who took them still perished. Slowly, the appetite for mummy medicine waned. By the 18th century, the custom was largely abandoned. The jars of mumia gathered dust in apothecaries until they were cast aside. Egypt's tombs, though scarred by plunder, came to be studied rather than pillaged, and the preserved bodies of the ancients were seen at last as subjects of history, not as tools of medicine. Looking back, the tale serves as more than a curiosity. It reveals the deep longing of humanity to escape suffering, to outwit death, to find power in the mysteries of the past. It reminds us that fear can lead even the wise into strange and dark paths, and that belief, though comforting, may not always be true. Yet it also reminds us that those who swallowed the dust of mummies were not monsters, but people like ourselves, seeking life, seeking hope, and doing so with the knowledge and tools their age allowed. Thus, the chronicles close with a lesson. To disturb the dead is folly. To respect them is wisdom. To seek health through illusion is vain. To pursue it through knowledge is noble. The tale of Europe's feast upon the bodies of the ancient Egyptians is at once somber and human, a reflection of the great hunger for life that unites all ages.